be his last cross.
All right, we'll make that our operation.
Coming up in the next half an hour. Right now, though, on Masters of Spin this morning, do political parties have to tell the truth in their advertising? The United Australia Party claims that Craig Kelly will be our next Prime Minister, that it will be a cap on interest rates at 3%, and they'll massively increase the aged pension.
The good news is that they have to stop in 4 days' time to give 2 days of clear air before most of us head to the ballot boxes. On Masters of Spin this morning, our advertising and marketing experts, Maddie Bywater and Adam Ferrier. Morning to you both, guys. Adam, is there anyone actually out there monitoring these ads to ensure that there is some veracity to them, that they are actually telling the truth?
No, there's not, because it doesn't need to be. You don't have to tell the truth in political advertising. You can basically say whatever you like. And it's very different to advertising goods and services where you can't be deceptive or misleading. You know, you can get out there and say Craig Kelly's going to be the next PM, or you can say whatever you want and there's no regulation to it, just about whatsoever.
That's outrageous.
Outrageous. It's crazy. South Australia's changed it a little bit, so in South Australia the rules are a little bit different, but for everywhere else you can basically say what you want, and it's very unusual.
It shouldn't be the Wild West, should it, Matthew? There should be some regulation around this like there is for ads.
Yeah, it's crazy that we hold businesses to a higher standard than the politicians who are meant to set our laws and values for society, and yet we hold them to a lower standard than we do an average business. It's ludicrous.
So, Adam, how would you go about, if we decided as a society that we actually wanted to enact some change here and bring some accountability to these particular ads, how would we go about it? How difficult would it be to achieve?
I don't think it'll be that difficult. I think you'd have an independent board, just like you do for goods and services, and they can fact check the information, and they can make a ruling whenever there's disputed claims.
OK, gosh, has to be done, doesn't it? It's not going to happen this time round, though. And the political advertising blackout on radio and television begins on Wednesday night. Matt, why does the ban just apply to radio and TV? This makes no sense to me either.
It makes no sense to anyone. These rules are so archaic. It just shows our government, our bureaucrats, they're behind the times. I mean, why ban one part of the media when the fastest growing parts of the media are not banned at all? I like to say, rather than a blackout, I think it's time to give up. I don't think you can actually do it. There's so many forms of getting the message out. I'd like to see if there was a rule. How about have a no negative week? How about instead of dissing the competitors, tell us what you've got and focus on the positive, what you could actually do if you were in control of running the country.
Now that is ambitious, Matthew. I love it, but that is ambitious. Adam, does the blackout include social media, TikTok, so candidates can't start spreading funny or feel-good videos, as Matthew suggests there, to get our attention?
No, the original legislation for the blackout was done, I think, 1912. And then it got refined. This is serious, in 1994, I think, before social media was a thing. So that's why that media is not included. It needs to be looked at again, obviously. What Matt said about having a no negativity week is ludicrous, and Matt is a buffoon. Okay, and now the reason why I say that is, I've got your attention, right? And so we have an inbuilt negativity bias, and that's the reason why lots of the ads in politics are negative, because we pay attention to the negative stimuli much more than the positive.
Yeah,
so we're stuck with it.
And fear. The things that make us frightened. That's why there's such a thing as clickbait. All right, look, finally, Uber has announced its female drivers can refuse to take male passengers. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Is it just to help recruit more female drivers?
Well, that's what they're saying, and it's a great idea. And we know when you look at the price we pay for a surcharge during peak periods, we need more drivers in these ride shares. But I don't think they're going the full way. What they need to do is actually have it so you can have women-only carriers, so that you can have a female actually call for a female driver, because that would make it much safer for more females to actually catch an Uber. And I know we've already got She-Bar start up in Australia. They're doing this. I think 13 cabs are doing this, so starting to look at this as well. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it certainly sounds sensible. A lot of changes that could be made from our discussion this morning, I think.
It is outrageous, though, isn't it, that we need to think about this. I mean, not all men need to be feared and to be put into the same category there. It's a shame that this is, seems as if it's so desperately needed. Maybe the messaging needs to be around, whoever is not behaving themselves in Ubers.
Yeah, spot on. Maddie and Adam, thank you very much for joining us this morning.